Okay, go. The point that I was trying to make on this is that morality should not be measured by numbers or severity. What I was saying was that unless something can be compared reasonably within a realm of comparison, so finances are compared with finances, emotional trauma with emotional trauma, mental trauma with mental trauma, etc., in situations that strongly mirror each other, then things should not be compared at all. It's not constructive, and all it does is hurts people. I have a hard time believing people would go up to an African child starving to death on the road and say, well, just get on with your life and fix your problem. I doubt that someone would go up to someone who's homeless and say, go on with your life and fix your problem. Well, people come up to us and say that all the time, and they shouldn't be saying that. They need to consider their circumstances and our circumstances and consider that they are not comparable. If I were in their shoes, I probably could go on with my life much easier and much better than even they do. But I can't, because I'm not in their shoes and I am in dire circumstances. So that's something I wanted to note. Also, when one boundary on a moral level is passed, more boundaries can be passed and pushed, and it doesn't matter anymore. People, when they see that they can break the law and be rewarded for it and get away with it, people will continue to break the law and do exactly that. So that's another point I wanted to make. Also, forgetting about things does not rectify it for us or for anybody else in similar situations to ours. It's a favoritism to abusers, and it's not constructive. I will have a part coming on YouTube soon, if there is no cooperation from certain people, discussing the scandal with legal aid and Deborah Rothstein and how she screwed me. I will discuss Children's Hospital and their involvement and how ridiculously they handled things and how absurd their claims were for Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. I will also be discussing Dr. Roger Fisher, who lost his license, and how he lost his license, and what types of things he did with us, and all the tapes we have, and what we got on tape with individual sessions. I will also be discussing Dr. Sam Robertson and some of his very dirty practices with regards to us, which we can prove because we have it on paper. So, the scandal continues, and part 2 might be on the internet soon. So, anyone who wishes to watch, stay tuned and we will see what happens. Finally, as to me and my personality, I don't think people understand me anymore. I don't know if I understand myself anymore. The effects of the abuse have been severe. The referee, when I talked to her, Referee Kathy King, she says, I remember a child who was so happy and so bright, and when I looked at you on Dateline, you seemed miserable and depressed. Well, people who know me over in Europe, or think they know me, they said I looked so bright and happy for the Dateline film compared to my usual self. What I'm trying to say is, I'd say about 50% of my happiness and brightness was gone by the time I got to Referee King, who thought she saw the full blast of it. And I would say that 3/4 of it might have disappeared by the time I got to Europe. So, yeah, does anyone really know me? Some people have even said all they see in me is darkness, and frankly, sometimes that's how I feel about myself. I don't know who or what I am anymore all the time, but I'd like to think, like my mom says, that there still is brightness in me. When I'm around children, something happy seems to come out in me, which makes me think maybe she's right, and maybe it's not all darkness that I see in myself. Maybe there is some value to me in my existence as a person in the world, and I'm not just a dark matter floating around in space. I have a hard time believing that, though. It's very hard for me to believe it. The consequences on my life, it's hard for me to go to church because I don't know who I am, and that brings out something in me that I don't understand. And I also have troubles communicating with people, not just because of my Asperger's, but also because of what's happened to me. I'll probably never get married. I'll probably never have kids or a home of my own. I hope that I do, but I'm not sure that I will be able to. I'm also concerned about Child Protective Services coming in and trying to steal my kids if I have any. The idea really scares me after my experience with CPS, and I'm afraid of the court and the idea of marriage. It's not relationships, but the idea of marriage.